Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dear Dr. Vijay Khole, dear Dr. Shanti Somaiya, dear Principal Venkataramanani, Dr. Gauri Mahulikar, Dr. Uma Vaidya, Dr. Kala Acharya, the dignitaries sitting in front of me, the participants, dear friends. I am extremely happy to be here this morning. At the outset, I would like to thank the Somaiya Institute and Bombay University, the Sanskrit department, for giving me the opportunity of to be with you all this morning. At the outset, I would also like to congratulate both these organizations for jointly organizing this very important seminar, Interfaith Dialogue on Mystics of World Religions. Before I give the reasons why I say so, and before I forget, I would also like to congratulate Shri Shanti Somaiya for the felicitation that he has received. I don't know who gave him the name Shantila, but it's very appropriate because he is spreading Shanti. Two types of Shanti we want. One is the mental, Mansik Shanti, mental peace we want. Everyone wants. Everybody is in search of that peace. Everybody in the tension nowadays, all over the world, not only in India, much more so outside. They are all in search of peace, and that is why Indian spiritual culture is being sought after in so many countries. The Time magazine gave on 4th August 2003 the front cover, a Hollywood actress meditating. Inside, the article started with "Just say Om." That was the name of the article. 10 million Americans are now regularly meditating in America. They are all coming at the feet of Indian spiritual culture for getting the Shanti, mental peace. And second thing, all over the world there is a great turmoil. Small wars are going on. We do not know about them. And many of them, these struggles, these various problems and strifes and small wars, they are not wars between countries and societies, they are clash of civilizations. Samuel P. Huntington says in his book, The Clash of Civilizations and the Remaking of a World Order, that most of the clashes that have and the wars that have been fought, small or bigger, during last 150 years, statistically, they were not wars or clashes between countries, they were clashes of civilizations, between various religions, various denominations. Unless and until we have interfaith dialogue of this type, and Dr. Shantilal Somaiya ji, just now we heard his biography, how many interfaith dialogues. In fact, last time also he had invited me last year, that was also for interfaith dialogue, this was an interfaith dialogue, and he has been spreading this message of India's spiritual culture, that is unity of civilization, the solidarity of the whole human race, the universal brotherhood, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is the Indian spiritual culture and tradition that he has been spreading. So Shantilal Bhai Somaiya has got the name Shantilal, and he is spreading Shanti both the ways we want. One is mental peace through spiritual culture, through meditation, yoga and Indian culture, and second also he is doing. So I congratulate him on this occasion when he is being felicitated, and I heard just recently he completed 80 years of age, and we all hope that he will complete a century and we will have centenary celebration. And I was telling you about this particular topic that has been chosen, mystics in world religions, is very relevant today because of two reasons. Number one, communication technology has undergone tremendous transformation through internet, through cyberspace, through cyberspace. We all are one. It's a global village. The distance has been annihilated. And the physical distance has been annihilated. But paradoxically, mental distance has increased. You can talk to your friend situated thousands of kilometers away through ISD, through phone, through mobile, and you can hear the voice very clearly because the communication is done through satellite. You can communicate very, very nicely with your friend thousands of kilometers away. But paradox is that there is no communication with your wife sitting on the same sofa from last 6 months. Annihilation of physical distance, but mental distance is increased. This is an age of globalization. We are talking about global. But globalization has come on economic front. But if we really want the universal peace, if we want to have global peace, we must have a global culture supported by acceptance of all the religions as equally true. On 11th September 1893, Swami Vivekananda had given these ideas of Vedanta. Vedanta believes that all religions all lead to the same goal. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. And this he could say not only from the scriptures, but it was validated in the life of Shri Ramakrishna. So these are the two reasons why this seminar is very important. Number one, today we are trying to find out the unity. We are trying to find out, it's a global civilization, we must have a unity of purpose and we must have universal brotherhood, for which there must be acceptance of all religions on equal footing, for which such interfaith dialogues is a must. And secondly, just now as Dr. Shanti Swami has said, physics and metaphysics are merging into each other. There was a time when mystics were being laughed at. The modern Western psychologists, they said there is something wrong. If there was a mystic and he had some supernatural experience, then they would say he needs to be treated. He's a psychic patient. This was the thing. It's still going on, excepting for a few psychologists, Dr. Carl Jung and William James and Alex Carroll, who wrote Man the Unknown. These are the few authors, and of course the latest one, Abraham Maslow. He said, in the 5 stages of human nature, so far I was advocating only self-actualization, but now I agree, we must have self-transcendence. So physics and metaphysics are merging. Lincoln Barnett says in his book, Einstein and the Universe, he says, man has a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. Man has a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. And that is Niels Bohr, the great physicist, says, man is a spectator and actor in this great drama of life simultaneously. And that is why the modern, after the discoveries of modern quantum mechanics and Heisenberg's principle of uncertainty, now those mystics are being regarded in a different light. Otherwise, these mystics of various world religions, they were the subject matter of, and they became the laughing stock. But now, gradually, the modern quantum mechanics is telling There are so many things which are uncertain. Paul Davies, one of the greatest scientists of our time, has written a book, The Mind of God. At the end of the book, he says it is not possible to know the mind of God by objective method. Why? There can be only one infinite, but according to mathematics there can be many infinites. And all these infinites jointly together, he gives the name Cantor's Absolute. And he says, while we are trying to know the Cantor's Absolute, if we want to go for an objective analysis, the person who is trying to know the Cantor's Absolute, his mind is also included in Cantor's Absolute. How can he know the knower? And so, it is a paradox. You can never know the mind of God. And then, last sentence he says, perhaps the mystical process is the only process where we can know the mind of God and can read the ultimate reality, can know the secret of the universe, and can know the secret of our own aim. This is how the modern science is now appreciating the mystics and the mysticism. And Dana Zohar, she is a professor in Oxford University. She has written a book, SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. And there she says, neurologically, physiologically, biologically, psychologically, from every point of view there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. What is IQ? Intelligence quotient. IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. What is EQ? Emotional quotient. It will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. Well, that is your choice. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? And this is how the physics and metaphysics are merging. The modern science coming and now appreciating. It is at this juncture that we have to have these types of dialogues on mysticism, how mysticism provides you that platform, how mysticism gives you that supernatural experience whereby we go beyond time, space and causation and transcend all limitations. These are all matters of experience. And as you have just now heard, yoto vacho nivartante apyapya manasa saha. This limited body and mind, this mind, and within time, space and causation, cannot know that supreme, that absolute, which is beyond time, space and causation. And so what do we find? Mystics in all world religions, they speak the same language. They speak the language of love, they speak the language of service, they speak the language of unselfishness. They are all one, whether in whatever may be the religions, because they have touched the feet of that infinite, which is basically, according to Vedanta, Satchit Ananda, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite existence. That is the ultimate purpose for which we are all traveling, and we will all have to become mystics. Now, in our own times, as far as Hinduism is concerned, thousands of years, galaxy of mystics have been produced in Hinduism. So I don't have the time, my time is ending. So at the end, I will just try to mention the name of one mystic who in our own times came and played the gamut of the whole gamut of the past experiences in one life. Shri Ramkrishna Paramahansa. He was born 19th century, 1836 he was born in a remote village in Kamarpur, just 70 miles off Calcutta, which was at that time the capital of British government. And his outward life was not much known or much available to the public, and very silently lived his life. But afterwards people came to know who he was, and later on so many people wrote about him. Rolla, the French Nobel Prize winner, he wrote a book in French. Later on that book has been translated into English and many other languages. The Life of Ramakrishna in 1929. And he says, the man whose image I evoke here was the consummation of 2000 years of spiritual life of 300 million people. The whole gamut. He traveled in one single path. And right from the childhood, he was full of mystic experience. At the age of 6 years, he got the first transcendental experience when he was going through a paddy field and was taking puffed rice, just a boy of 6 years. And suddenly he saw a beautiful blue sky, and suddenly he saw the dark cloud coming, and in the contrast of dark cloud coming, he saw beautiful white cranes. And looking at that natural beauty, he went into a trance. That was the beginning. When he was playing the drama, he was playing the part of Shiva, he went into a transcendental experience, went into Samadhi, superconscious state, and that went on. Then he became a priest in the temple of Kali, Mother Kali, in Calcutta, Rani Rasmani's temple, and he started worshipping. But he said, Mother, I am worshipping you, but are you accepting the worship? Some people are saying, many people are telling you are just a stone image. They are saying you are Mridmayi, but some are saying, no, you are Chinmayi, you are the mother of the whole universe. I don't know, I am an illiterate person. You please tell me. I don't know anything. And went on praying. If you are there, if you are really present, then you must give me vision. You must appear before me. I don't want to see you as a stone. If you are the mother of the divine mother of the whole universe, you must appear before me. Went on praying every day and night. And one day he said, okay, if you don't give me vision, it's no use keeping this body. He just, in a frantic spell, he took up the sword that was hanging there and just was going to cut his throat just by that sword. Suddenly, he had the vision. And then, mother. And he went into superconscious state, he fell down unconscious. Later on, he described, I saw waves of bliss, waves of light coming from all parts, from all sides, engulfing me, and then I lost my consciousness. That was. And then he had the vision of Mother Kali, but he was not satisfied. Then he practiced various tenets of Hinduism. He had the vision of Rama, vision of Krishna, vision of Radha, and then vision of Hanuman. So many gods and goddesses. Then Bhairavi Brahmani came, and he made Bhairavi Brahmani his teacher. Bhairavi Brahmani taught him 64 tantras. And what had taken Bhairavi Brahmani 30 years, Sri Ramkrishna could get within a few months. He mastered all the 64 tantras. Then suddenly came Totapuri, a Vedantic monk. And he said, I want to teach you. He said, okay. And then he taught him Advaita Vedanta. And for Totapuri, it had taken 40 years to experience that transcendental Samadhi, the experience of the superconscious state. But Sri Ramakrishna got this within 3 days because his mind was so concentrated. And for 6 months, he remained in that superconscious state, Samadhi state. But somehow, through the divine plan, his body was preserved. Then he said, I want to know how Muslims are practicing. So, for a few days, he became Muslim. He dressed like a Muslim, ate like a Muslim, removed all the photographs of gods and goddesses from his room, went 5 times to the nearby mosque, and practiced Islam under Gobind Rai, who was a Sufi saint, and used to listen to the teachings of Quran. And within a few days, he had the vision of a bearded man, maybe Muhammad. It is not written, but he had the vision of a tall man with a beard. And then he had the vision of a transcendental, superconscious state at the end of the Islamic sadhana. Then he practiced Christianity. He used to listen to Bible reading, and then Shambhu Malik used to read out to him. And then there was a garden attached to Dakshineshwar temple, Jadu Malik's garden. One day he went there, he saw child Christ in the lap of Mother Madonna. Beautiful painting. He was looking intently, suddenly the picture became alive. And the rays of light started coming from the Christ face to Sri Ramakrishna's chest, and Sri Ramakrishna went into Samadhi, went into super conscious state. After 3 days, he was walking under Panchavati Dakshineswar temple, suddenly found a tall man going towards him, coming nearer, and he was just thinking, who could be this man? Suddenly somebody told within him, this is Christ, who shed his blood for saving mankind. This is Jesus Christ. Just like he was thinking, Christ came, embraced him, and disappeared into him. And he fell down unconscious. At the end, he had again a super conscious state, the Samadhi state. Like that, he practiced all religions by turn. And he told, I practiced all religions by turn. At the end, I had a transcendental experience, and that experience was one. That is why Claude Allen Stark says, in his book, God of All, in our own times, it was required, when we have so much of quarrels in the name of religion, we have so many multiplicity of religions and faiths, at that time it is required that one person should experiment all religions by turn and then demonstrate. Yes, the final acme, the final experience that was received is one. If somebody could do it, then only the modern civilization will believe, because only theory they will not believe. They want experimentation. And then Claude Allen Stark says, and fortunately for us, Sri Ramakrishna practiced all that. We are not aware of it. Sri Ramakrishna came in the last century, practiced all religions by turn, and demonstrated that ultimately all religions lead to the same goal. Joto mat, toto. So these two books will give you more details. My time is ended, so I will not venture much into that. But you will find wonderful experiences. Sri Ramakrishna had hundreds of experiences. Most of the time, he was in the borderline between the infinite and the finite. He is constantly with the infinite. With great difficulty, he had to bring his mind from the infinite plane. For us, very difficult to get to Samadhi state. For him, very difficult to come back from Samadhi state to the normal state so that he can make others known. That's a wonderful thing. And we are talking about unity of existence and universal brotherhood. Not only with all human beings. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting by the side of the Ganges. 2 boatmen were quarreling in the Ganges. There was a boat and 2 boatmen were quarreling. And one boatman just left another boatman on the back. And suddenly Sri Ramakrishna cried, oh, he felt the pain here in his back. And his attendant came, Ridena. He said, Mama, what has happened? Maternal uncle, what has happened? But Sri Ramakrishna was in a trance. Then he saw the back is red, so he thought somebody has bitten Sri Ramakrishna. Let me know who has bitten you, and I am going to just give punishment. But Sri Ramakrishna is not able to. After a few minutes, when he came to the ordinary plane of existence, then he asked, who has bitten you? Nobody bit me. Nobody bitten me. That boatman slapped that boatman. And the injury was here on the back. Now the modern psychologists are flabbergasted. They are surprised how this can happen, but this is what exactly happened. But now the modern psychology is coming to an end. Yes, this feeling of oneness that he felt, that I am one with the whole universe, when your mind is at that level, and all the incidents, they give their reaction to you. This is a very well documented life. I'll request all of you to read the life of Sri Ramakrishna by Christopher Issoud or Roma Rolla or Max Muller, so many lives are there, and the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The diary based on the conversations, day-to-day conversations, written in the diary of Mahendra, the M has been written and now published in the form of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I express my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Somaiya and Somaiya Institute and Bombay University for giving the opportunity of meeting you all and sharing my thoughts. Thank you very much.